Hi, this is Professor McLaughlin. This is a brief tutorial on using Westlaw Next. By now, most of you should have registered for Westlaw, and this will just be an overview on how to use the database and some of the things that the database can do. But I also encourage all of you, there are a lot of tutorials that Westlaw provides on its training website, which I've provided a link to in your Blackboard. This is an expensive database that we provide you access to for the next 12 months. Use it for all your classes, practice it, get familiar with it. Put it on your resume as a database that you're familiar with. It's really, really valuable and a great resource and a great way to become familiar with fee-based legal databases, for lack of a better word, legal research databases. Westlaw and Lexis are the two big ones. You get access to Lexis through IVC, so log into the library website and sign in, and they have a really great Lexis website or Lexis database that you get access to. Lexis has a lot of news. Westlaw is more specifically legal research database. But use the IVC one and put that one on your resume as well. Use all the resources at your disposal at IVC while you're here. Okay, so let's get into it. I've already signed in. This is the next page that comes up. Just terms of service, the agreement. I'm going to agree. Oh, snap. Okay, I'm going to do it again. So I signed in. I'm agreeing. So Westlaw comes up with this start page where you put in the client ID. That is for billing purposes. If you have to use Westlaw, you bill it to the client. Westlaw is super expensive for law firms. It's expensive for everybody. And so research that's required for a case, you're billing it to the client, and you put the client ID so you can keep track of it. So let's put legal 205, what is this, fall 15. Here are previous searches. Luckily, nothing embarrassing there. Just I had drafted some liability releases for a nonprofit board that I serve on. So if you were just going back to your previous research, Westlaw remembers that and comes up with, that was my last use of the database, and comes up with what your search results were. But I'm going to start a new one. There's my client ID, and I can, this drop-down menu, those are all my client IDs. Different classes, real estate, some research that I do, environmental law. And so this keeps track of all the research that I've given a unique client ID to. All the searches, I won't say research because all the searches. So you can set your home page to be lots of different things. It could be what the regular home page is, which looks like this. Or as we move forward, you'll see that I can set my home page to be California family law or a specific, let's say my practice area is family law, or my practice area is insurance law. I don't need this generic homepage. I would just want to open right up to insurance law or family law. So this is the general homepage with lots of fun things to learn about. Here's your query area where you can search. Those are all my previous searches. So very similar to Google. Over here, follow my mouse, is the current database I'm searching. California law only. That's very narrow, or that's exactly what I want. For you all, as you're fooling around, so you're setting the jurisdictional search, why not, as you're fooling around, do all states and all federal, or all states? Spend some time, really get to know these drop-down menus and get a sense of the structure. It'll help you in your other classes as well. These are all the state databases that are available, and territories as well, and tribal law. You have all the federal courts here, but you also have it by the circuit court. How cool is that? So I'm going to save it to all state and all federal. Now, any search term I put in here is going to search that database, those jurisdictions. I could go to also advanced search, where I can add connectors and expanders. And that's one of the things we'll learn in your book. I don't know, I've known some students who have used these connectors and expanders in their Google searches. The ampersand, you can connect two words. \S means these words are going to be located, only give me research results where these words are located in the same sentence. This word or that word, and those connect words, but also expand your search results, or give you more perfect search results. Okay, you can spend a little bit more time on that. I want to do a search, so we're going to go back home. I want to show you a couple more drop-down menus. That's my client ID. Here's some more of my history. Recent documents, recent searches. Here are the folders. I don't think I have a lot of folders. I don't know how many folders I do have. Not too many. I only have 3. Tribal casinos in Guam. So I don't use these folders. I find, but that's not to say they're not helpful. What I do is find my research. I download it and save it to a USB or save it to my laptop. So, but certainly feel free to save your research in here, and these folders can be organized, downloaded, that kind of thing. But it's not an aspect of Westlaw that I use very frequently. And that's not to say how you do research and how you use this database, you need to discover yourself. Some things are going to work for your brain that don't work for other people's. Okay, so always when I want to get back home, you can just click on Westlaw Next. And I'm back here to all content. So let's move down here a little bit. All content. Get to know what all these different things are. I could also search specific federal materials. This is a little bit more specific than what you saw over here for jurisdiction. This is actually federal materials, the Code of Federal Regs, the Federal Register. We can scroll down so you can see the whole screen. But I don't use any of the stuff down here. But you can see over to the right, you can organize your start page. It does keep track of frequently used items. So if I want to go right back to just searching law reviews and journals, I can. And then state materials, practice areas, super helpful when you're looking up something in particular. My research area is capital markets. Really awesome stuff, but it's not always available in our database. So let's see. I'm going to make this my start page. Oh, it does. So it gets me that Reuters news article. Sometimes I click on stuff in the practice areas. Oh, here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. And it's out of plan. So some of this information is not in the plan that we pay for at IVC. So I would have to expand my plan or pay for that. Okay, so enough of that. Let's go back to all content. I want to do a search, and I'm going to search, or let's go back here. Let's search something fun like a case. And so I can put, this is, this database has been updated, so it's works very much like Google in the sense that it tries to understand what you're looking for and find it, and not in the sense that you can pay to have your research result come first. So I could put in a concept here, or I could put in a case citation. So let's do case citation. It's volume 127 of the Supreme Court Reporter. It's page 2162. Double check my jurisdiction. Okay, it's all state and all federal. I search. And I looked for a very specific case, and it came up with it. It came up with the full case. Starts with a little synopsis. This is the caption or the heading. It's a 2006 case decided in 2007. Scroll down, it's the synopsis. The holding is there. That's awesome. I can link to other cases. It's a Supreme Court case, so I can find out all the dissents here. They're hyperlinked. And then we come to the West headnotes. So you're going to learn this semester in the book and through this tutorial and through your use of Westlaw that Westlaw organizes legal concepts, legal areas by headnote. And we call it a key number. And this is how West quickly will identify the legal issues or the legal area that a case is concerning. And it's also, as you're checking legal research or you're trying to find a case that's on point to support an argument you want to make, you want these headnotes to be the same as your area that you're arguing about, your specific area of law. Starts with a very big area, civil rights, and then moves into a much more narrow area, which is accrual and computation, which has to do with employee and EEOC something or other. Let's click on it and find out what that is. So here's a little breakdown. We can go back to the case, but civil rights is the big key number 78. There are 2,700 cases here. And then it's outlined in subcategories. 78.4 will be remedies under federal employment discrimination statutes. Key site 78.1503 talks about administrative agencies and proceedings under the Civil Rights Act. Key site 78.1505 talks about limitations of administrative agencies and proceedings under the Civil Rights Act. And then key site 78, and where we were, 1505 subpart 3, it's going to be operation, accrual, and computation of these leaves. Okay, so just so you'll learn more about Keysight, it's really important. It's how things are organized. There is a rhyme to the reason. And let's say I immediately knew I was in the civil rights area, I would go to Keysight 78. And it's also a way to check your research. Okay, so we call those head notes and key numbers. Still looking here, it's all about civil rights, but it's about very specific areas. Okay. And then the syllabus of the case, and then the opinion itself. So that's the full case. Let's take a look at these tabs up here. Oh, and here's a red flag. This case was overturned due to legislative action in 2009. That's really important to know, right? This will give you all the information you need. It's a Supreme Court decision. This is the date. This is how it's cited in the U.S. Reporter. This is how it's cited in the Supreme Court Reporter, which is what we're looking at. This is how it's discussed in the BNA Fair Employment Practices case. If I wanted to see all citations, I could click on that hyperlink, but I'll leave that to you to fool around with. If I wanted just to download the PDF, it's right here, and then bam, it's on my computer. I could also fool around with these tabs. I don't want to bore you. You guys can fool around with this, but you can download it, save it to a folder, search within it. Let's take a look at these tabs up here. So filings in the case. What? Filings. It's every document that was filed. And this is a Supreme Court case. So it'll be like briefs. This is awesome stuff. So interesting. Here, first it tells you everything here. There were appellate court decision documents, 16 of them. Trial court documents, 4. And you just finished in chapter 2 learning about briefs and trial briefs. But they're amici curiae briefs, which are friends of the court briefs in support of a specific decision, and those are included here as well. So these are briefs from interested organizations that want to support the Supreme Court's deciding in a particular way for a decision. This is a EEOC case and looks like a sexual harassment case or sexual discrimination case. So, and there will be briefs from both sides that are friends of the court or amici curiae. But also you have brief of the respondent, it's a trial brief or appellate brief, brief of the plaintiff appellee, and a joint appendix for the court. But some of these are out of plan, but I want you to take a look. So these are all the filings you can get. Sometimes you really want those. This is super important because if I wanted to find out who treated this case, who overruled it, how it was treated negatively, how other courts found it unpersuasive, that would be under negative treatment here. And Westlaw uses these flags. Red is super bad, yellow is kind of bad, and then no flag. So this is kind of poorly treated. But it'll give you an idea of how it was treated right here, dates right here, and then depth refers to, hopefully I'm not moving too quickly on the mouse, but depth here refers to how much discussion is there in the Wong v. New York Life Insurance Company case of the Ledbetter v. Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Why is that important? So think about, I'm trying to understand how other cases described, criticized, followed the Ledbetter case. This is a super shortcut because if it wasn't covered, discussed very deeply, I don't want to read it. I only want to read just taking a look at the depth of coverage. Okay, so I really might want to look at this case because it's covered very heavily in the Mikula, Allegheny County of PA case. And then other great thing is I can just hold my cursor over here and it'll talk about how it was discussed. And these are the various head notes that we looked at earlier, and this is how those specific areas are discussed in the following case. All right, so we're following breadcrumbs, we're making connections, we're each case represents a holding regarding a legal topic, a legal decision, and sometimes they're very narrow. So what these databases do is they, if you want to find a case that follows exactly what Ledbetter said, this is going to help you do it, and this is going to make your research faster. All right. I don't know if I said that very clearly, but head notes connect you to the legal concept and the very specific legal concept. So if you only care about head note 3 for Ledbetter, you're not going to look at cases that don't talk about head note 3 subsequently to the Ledbetter decision. All right, let's click on tab about history, and that's history of the Ledbetter case. Graphics, love it. Hyperlinks, I can get to, this is how it started. Started here in the Northern District of Alabama. B, it went up here to the 11th Circuit, which is the Federal Circuit. It was granted certiorari to go to the Supreme Court in June of 2006, and here I am at the Supreme Court. And it gives me hyperlinks to all these cases. If I wanted to really find the history, I scroll down, and there's related references. And look, there's another mention that this case was overturned due to legislative action in the U.S. This is the reference to the law that was passed in January 2009 and its public law number. So I can find that and search that. Citing references. Who cited? Hold on, let's let it load. Who cited to Ledbetter? Okay, and even these are recent cases, 2015 cases. Those are going to be more persuasive than, I'm going to scroll down, don't get vertigo. You know, those are going to be, 2015 cases are going to be more persuasive than, well, first of all, definitely more persuasive than filings. Okay, more persuasive than other cases. These are all the filings. I'm going to scroll back up. Can't get those. Then this case in 2009, it's a state case. So always paying attention in your legal research to, I want the most recent decision, I want the fullest coverage. Westlaw gives me little hints, it was treated negatively. And let's say, this is too much stuff. Here's a nice little breakdown. If I only want to look at cases, I'm going to look at this. If I only want to look at trial court orders, if I only want to look at arbitration awards, this will break it down for me. So these are other cases, documents, things that cited to Ledbetter, citing references. There's 3,800. And you can also change your depth. You want the oldest first, sometimes you may want that. And then finally, the table of authorities, which is the cases that Ledbetter referred to and relied upon, and that the briefs to the court referred to and relied upon. And you can take a look at those. Some of them are very old. This gives you over here cited, mentioned. It tells you whether Ledbetter cited to it. But really spend some time absorbing all the information on these pages, because understand, this gives you the page number. It was quoted. Westlaw gives you a lot of information. Take your time. Have a cup of tea while you go through these things, so that you can really see what Westlaw can do for you. Can give you a lot of information. Okay, so that's if we search a case. What if we want to search a legal concept. Can an unmarried couple, typo, let's see what it does with my typo. Can an unmarried couple adopt a child? I don't know what it did with my typo. Did it correct it like Google would? Let's see if in re adoption of Joseph comes up first with the corrected spelling. Oh, it did correct right there. Sorry, you guys probably saw that. Oh, but another case came up first. That's very interesting. I would recommend you spell correctly up here. Okay, so let's take a look. So I Googled a concept, a legal concept. Can an unmarried couple adopt a child? I want to know about it. And I want you to see over here that Westlaw came up with all kinds of things. Came up with jury verdicts, expert materials, cases, key numbers. I can scroll down and narrow my search. I want to search within these results. I can do that here. I don't want to. I can narrow my jurisdiction. I can change the date. I only want things over the last 3 years. Different topics. I can select a judge. I can narrow it vastly through all these filters. And I can search other sources. Primarily, Westlaw is going to come up with cases first. Why? Why is it coming up with cases first? Because cases are primary law. That's what you're going to be able to persuade the court with. That's what's going to support your argument. That's going to be the primary law that you're going to rely on. And then there's lots of secondary sources, which are good. They're informative, but they're not as persuasive, and they can't be relied upon the same way primary law does. So secondary sources are journal articles, legal magazines, briefs, practice forms, and they can be interesting, more law review articles. They can provide guidance, but they're not primary law. All right, let's look at one more thing. Let's look at the key numbers in this area. So we're not in civil rights. Instead, we're in adoption. And adoption is 17. Well, 17 is adoption. 17.4 is persons who may adopt others. Let me go back to the other page. 1711 is petitions and parties. And so you see how this goes. I'm still in 17, which is adoption. I'm getting narrower and narrower. And this is how Westlaw helps my research, because if I have a very particular case that I want to support a very particular argument, and it's very narrow, like persons who may be adopted, Westlaw is going to make my research easy with these key site numbers. But this is a legal concept that covers many areas. It covers adoption, which is 17, marriage, which is 253, constitutional law, which is 92, civil rights, I think we were in a different area of civil rights, right? Because it was 77 or something, or 74. And this is 78, so let's click on that. Was it 74? What was the other one? I don't remember. But you'll have to figure out what that distinction is. And Westlaw can help you do that. If I keep clicking it. Does it come up with the 7,000? Okay, anyway. Couple more things and then I'll let you go. We went through the results page. I didn't spend a whole lot of time of searching within results. You can practice that. I can give you some activities to search within the result. I think that's it. I'd like to create a separate Wes probably has another tutorial for key citing. So checking your research is really important. Checking that you have looked everything up, and that you have the most recent cases cited. We call that key citing or checking your research or shepherdizing. Ooh, let's see this. I like this. Okay, here's the West key number system. So I got that by going back to the home page, for lack of a better word, and here are all the key numbers from the beginning. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah, no, civil rights is 78. You guys are right. I know you were yelling at the computer or phone. What? There's 450. And as we click within them, you find out how they're more narrowly organized. So it's really up to you to spend some time getting to know this. If this is a field you're serious about, you should be spending a lot of time on these databases. It's free. You can look up a lot of stuff. You can get to know how West organizes things, how they organize the database is very unique. Lexis works in a different way. And I encourage you to do that. And thanks.